Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Monday, August the 2nd, 2021. Folks, appreciate you all tuning in. I'm Chris Phillips, host of the Daily Crow and the Spurs Up Show. As always, again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend and very excited to chat with you here on this Monday. Again, we're taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Got an exciting day, a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. And again, I appreciate you all tuning in. I see Travis, Sean O'Brien, Zach Moore, Elizabeth Ballard. Appreciate y'all. Also, if you are in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to TDC Questions, the TDC Questions channel, to be sure that your questions are answered. Again, appreciate you all tuning in, guys. Thanks so much for the love and support. Also, let's make today a good one because today will be the only Daily Crow we have this week. As many of you know, the family, we are going to Missouri. My younger brother is graduating from basic training. Very excited, obviously, to see him, pumped up. Sad we can't do the Daily Crow the rest of the week, but obviously being out of town in Missouri, all that good stuff, there's just no way we really could have swung it. But again, there will be a ton of content, ton of stuff. I'm planning on doing like some Q&A stuff and stuff like that to keep the conversation going this week. My guy John Rice, 3 spots near us in Seawells. Prepare for a good time, my friend. Prepare for a good time. It is going to be a blast. But again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Guys, before we get into everything, I do want to tell you about our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm, because the Daily Crow is presented to you by our friends at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Guys, they're young but experienced and aggressive attorneys. They're both former prosecutors who used to represent insurance companies, but switching sides. They both worked at larger law firms where they've represented hundreds of clients at a time. And guys, they both left to start their own law firm because they understand you're not just a number, you're not just a line item, you're a real human being, and you should be treated as such. They're a small boutique law firm that treats their clients like family. They're going to know who you are and treat you like a client and not a number. They handle injury cases that arise from car accidents and work accidents. Guys, do not try to take on the insurance company yourself. You've been involved in any type of accident, whatever it might be. The last thing you should be worried about is paperwork and dealing with the insurance company. Let the experts at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm handle it for you, guys. They use the latest technology to make representation efficient yet effective. Again, let them take care of everything for you guys. You don't even pay them unless they recover money for you. Rami's in Columbia, Curtis in Charleston. They handle cases statewide. They also offer virtual or in-person consultations at no charge. Guys, give them a call today in Columbia, 803-973-0304, or in their Somerville location, 843-388-3368. Or, of course, guys, your one-stop shop. Their website, dsinjurylaw.com. That is dsinjurylaw.com. For more information. Again, guys, it's our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Again, guys, Monday, August the 2nd, 2021. Appreciate you all tuning in, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Joel asks, what happened in the Clemson simulation? Well, we're not simulating it. We are playing it. We will play it next Sunday, though. Got back from Charlotte yesterday, was rushing to get home to the family, had to help out with some things. I did not want to rush that content, so here's what we'll do. I actually posted the social media graphic for it yesterday. We will play Clemson on Heisman Sunday, August the 8th at 7 p.m. So you guys have a whole week to plan, a whole week to look ahead. Sunday, August the 8th, we'll play Clemson on Heisman. We may play a bowl game on that Monday because, again, we're going to Missouri this week. We'll be getting back late Friday, so we'll play them Sunday. We might play a bowl game on Monday because, hey, we are bowl eligible. We're 8-3 right now. So we'll probably play a bowl game, maybe like the Outback Bowl or something, which is probably where we would land in that scenario. So we'll play a bowl game probably Monday, and then Tuesday, I believe, we are going to start the actual season simulation series. Now, as I told you guys, I appreciate y'all being cool, rocking and rolling with the punches. Obviously, we're in the midst of summer. Things have been crazy. Me going back and forth. I feel like I've been running around like crazy. After this trip this week, though, there's still a lot going on. But we will be much more scheduled out than we have been with the Dynasty on Heisman type stuff. Again, I appreciate y'all being cool, rolling with the punches. We've been doing those really randomly, kind of all over the place. I'm actually going to put together a full schedule for the simulation series. So you guys are going to know exactly when we're simulating each and every single game, what time, the dates, all that good stuff. Because I want to make sure people can actually tune in. It's going to be something much more structured out and much more scheduled. So again, I appreciate y'all rocking and rolling with the Dynasty. But for the simulation series, I'm going to have that scheduled out because, again, we're getting into the nitty-gritty, of course, today on the podcast, talking position unit previews, talking quarterbacks. We're rolling with that all the way to kickoff. We'll be talking fall camp as well on Thursday's show, and really every show from here on out, everything Shane Beamer, the coaching staff, all those guys are saying, top storylines from fall camp, all that good stuff. But we're really getting in the nitty-gritty right now. We really are. With fall camp getting going, and we're in the month of August. Congratulations to everyone. We made it to the month of August, and guess what? There's football. There's football in the month of August. How good does that feel? How good does it feel? Great stuff. Great stuff. I will tell you this really quickly. Everybody that said what's up, and I got to meet in Charlotte because I met some great Gamecocks in Charlotte as well. Appreciate y'all. Charlotte did not disappoint. We secured our tailgate tent for our tailgate this season. But outside of that, Charlotte, man, it did not disappoint. There's a reason I enjoyed living there for 4 years. And, man, I tell you, it's just a different type of energy in the city. It really is. It's an awesome place. It's an incredible place. And, yeah, looking forward to getting back, man. I'd actually like to make one more trip up there before the season, but who knows? Who knows? Whatever. Whatever. We're in the present moment. We had a really, really good time. We had a really good time in Charlotte, and appreciate my buddy letting me crash with him. And like I said, I met a bunch of great Gamecocks. Met a bunch of great Gamecocks out there, and got to chat with them and network with them a little bit, and it was cool. It was very, very cool. So again, I truly appreciate the people that said what's up, got to shake their hand, got to chat Gamecocks with them. It was really, really cool. Let's jump to the phone lines real quick. Like I said, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Corey texts in. He said, hey, Chris, big fan. My question is one I wish wasn't even a thought, but unfortunately where we are right now in society, it's got to be asked. And so with the cancellation of fans not attending practices, as well as the cancellation of Fan Appreciation Day, what are the chances 100% capacity no longer happens going into week one? You know more guys on the inside, so curious as to what you've been hearing and your thoughts. Hopefully it won't be an issue, but definitely is something that's come up in discussion over the past few days. Thanks. Corey, appreciate the text, and it's a fair question. I know nobody wants to talk about it. I'll be honest with you. I don't even watch the news. I don't keep up with what's going on in society or what have you. I mean, we've all seen things on Twitter and social media and stuff like that. The cancellation, if you will, we say the cancellation like it was actually scheduled, but the no fan day and no open practices, it is a bummer. It's a bummer. There's no other way to spin it. But with that being said, it really doesn't worry me about 100% capacity because I think the biggest reason, and I know the biggest reason they're not doing that is to protect the players, right? It's to protect the players. I mean, that's the biggest reason. So I understand it from that perspective. I really do. I expect 100% capacity. I don't see any way we're not at 100% capacity. So, like I think Courtney just made the point, the tickets are being sold. I mean, it's kind of late to turn back now. You know what I mean? I mean, certainly it could happen, but no, I'm not too concerned. I feel pretty confident we're going to have 100% capacity. I'm full steam ahead. We're moving forward, as scheduled. I'm really not even thinking about COVID or whatever. Like I said, I know there's been some things that have come up, and it's still, unfortunately, I'm going to be given top 5 storylines for fall camp this week. And I really don't want to mention it. I know it is a storyline, but I want to talk football. Like, I want to talk football. I want to talk about the quarterback position. I want to talk running backs. I want to talk wide receivers. I want to talk Shane Beamer. I want to talk 4-2-5. I don't want to talk about COVID-19. You know what I mean? So I understand it's still around. It's still there. Whatever it is, what it is. But again, you guys don't tune in to hear my thoughts on COVID. And I don't really want to talk about it, to be totally honest with you. So I want to talk about football. But no, long story short, Corey, I understand where you're coming from. I think we're going to have 100% capacity. I'm really not too concerned about it. Like I said, it's certainly a bummer. There's no open practices or fan day. But again, I understand why. I get why. Having that close of interaction with the players, and especially with the whole, like, if players, if they test positive and you have an outbreak, you got to forfeit the game. Like, I'd rather not have a fan day than risk having to forfeit the game. Just saying. So it is what it is. It sucks because I was looking forward to fan day. I think that's a great thing, especially for the fans to get out and about and to meet people and network with people and talk with people. And so it's a bummer it's not happening. Sean O'Brien, appreciate the love, man. He says great pod today. Appreciate it. Yeah. Great stuff. Episode 477 did drop this morning. Like I said, today's show beginning the position unit previews, okay, which will run all the way from now until kickoff. So the next 30 days or so, we're going to be talking position units. Today, of course, we started with the most important position on the football field. That is the quarterback position. And we'd love you guys' thoughts. If you want to talk quarterbacks, we can talk Luke Doty, we can talk Jason Brown, Colton Gauthier, every single one of those guys. Would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Again, 843-790-3377. Those phone lines are open. Phil, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Phil in the TDC Questions channel in the Big Cock Club Discord, he says, daily weather report for New Hampshire, 73 degrees and cloudy. Phil, I don't get the weather where you are because it is like 105 here. Like it is insanely hot. So whatever. John, by the way, I know he commented earlier, looking forward to tailgating with you, my friend, at Sewell. So again, guys, like I said, quick content update. No Daily Crow after today. Like I said, we're going out of town, going to see the brother. Really excited for that. He's graduating from basic training. We're all very, very happy and proud of him. And I'll get to what I was saying in just a second. Let's jump out of the phone lines real quick. Yo, Dalton, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing okay. I'm a fellow Newberry. You there?
Nice. Yeah, go Wolves. Yeah, I hear you. What's going on?
Okay. I'm calling in because I have a question. I have a question about your opinion on the Gamecocks recruiting strategy. It seems to me that with Shane Beamer, he's definitely a better recruiter, but South Carolina is definitely not a blue blood. So I'm wondering, like, how you think he can tackle the recruiting aspect of his job and sort of get a team that can compete with the top 10s without getting all those five-star guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you made a great point in the sense of he is an excellent recruiter, and we've seen it early on. And, I think some of the guys we're in conversations with or we're hosting on campus or we're even getting commitments from, they're guys that coming off of, 6 wins in the last 2 seasons combined and a brand new coaching staff and just all the turmoil that we faced at the end of last year. I think it's just a testament to Shane Beamer and how he's been able to change the energy and the momentum and getting in the conversations with these guys and even having a chance to land them. I think we're very well on our way to a top 25 class in his first year. I mean, I think it's really simple, man. I just think you got to develop. I mean, South Carolina's never recruited at a top 15, top 10 clip. They never have. But when Steve Spurrier was there and Shane Beamer was doing the recruiting, recruiting wasn't an issue with the last staff, right? I think we can all agree. But the development side of things was what was not there. And I think when he was there the first time, what they were so good at doing, and you have to trust that Shane Beamer is this still and currently is, he's a master talent evaluator, right? And a master talent developer as well. So, I mean, when he was there, yeah, we had that really nice class in 2007. It was ranked 7th in the country, and we had some of the, best Gamecocks in school history that were in that class. But, I mean, I look back, like, even the class you signed Marcus Lattimore in, the 2010 class, that class was ranked 25th. I mean, it's not like you were recruiting at a top 10 clip, from 2011 to 2013. You weren't. I mean, they were solid classes, but you weren't. But developing guys, being able to identify guys that fit your culture, fit your system, fit your scheme, finding guys like DJ Swearinger, who was a 3-star, Connor Shaw, who was a 3-star, Dylan Thompson, who was a 2-star. I mean, you can go down the list of guys, some of the greats, the all-time greats in school history. They were 3-star guys. And I mean, listen, you need to get those 5-star guys. You need to get big-time ball players. I mean, the guys like the Lattimores and the Clowneys and the Alshons and the Gilmores, you got to be able to reel in those top prospects too, right? I mean, a class full of 3-stars every year is probably not going to get it done in the long run, but you got to hit on those big-time guys you sign, and you got to be able to develop the 3-star guys. You really do. You got to be able to identify those guys. Hey, they fit our program. We like his skill set. Being master talent evaluators, like I said. So, I feel confident in that. Like I said, I think the previous coach and previous regime, they recruited talent. I think we can all agree they recruited talent, but what happened to it once it got on campus? And that honestly, for me, man, like I kind of lost my love of, I wasn't a huge recruiting guy to begin with either way, but I just fell out of love completely with recruiting because it just felt like all hype and no substance. And what you got to hope now with Shane Beamer is it's going to return where they're actually going to develop guys. Like we're going to see guys get on campus. They're going to get better as football players. You know what I mean? So, and then of course at South Carolina, like I said, when you get the Pickens and the Birches and the Marshawn Lloyds and the 5-stars of the world, you don't get enough to miss out on them. You don't get enough for them to come in and be busts. So, you got to develop those guys hard. They've got to live up to the expectations. And like I said, the rest of your classes, you just have to get the most out of them. So I don't think it's necessarily rocket science. And I feel good about Shane Beamer in recruiting, and I think he's going to recruit really well here. Now we just need to see the development side of things, because again, he's never been a head coach before, and these coordinators have never been coordinators at the Power 5 level. So what the hope and the thought is they're going to be not only master talent, evaluators, but talent developers as well. So I think that's really what you got to bank on with Shane Beamer.
I also definitely think that this whole enthusiasm around the program is sort of propelling our recruiting classes, because with Muschamp there wasn't really a whole lot of enthusiasm. It was just sort of people, we got recruits that wanted to go to the NFL, and that's what Muschamp promised them, but they weren't really there for the program. They weren't really playing to win necessarily. So I think with Beamer there, he wants to get people that want to win, that care about winning, that are there with the fans and are excited about it. So I think that'll definitely help us out.
Well, and you make the point, man. I mean, listen, these recruits, they're kids, they're human beings. They want to go play somewhere where it's fun. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go play somewhere where it's negative and the coach is an asshole, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's you want to go somewhere it's enjoyable. I mean, it's your college experience, right? You want to go somewhere where the culture is upbeat and positive, and it's no disrespect to those guys, because I've had, guys from the previous regime, that era, on the show, and trust me, there are a lot of those guys that love Carolina football, that they do. But I was talking to one of my buddies about this, and I'll tell you this, and I'm glad you bring this up. The difference is the last regime, the last staff, with Muschamp and everything, the guys we got, like you mentioned, it felt very transactional. Like, at least some of the guys, hey, I'm coming to South Carolina to get to the league. Do what you got to do to get me there. Like, I don't view them as like, they're ride or dies for South Carolina. And I'm not going to name names or whatever. And like I said, I'm not going to put everybody in that bucket, but it felt very transactional. I understand to a degree it is, right? You're coming to play big-time D1 football. You want to play at the SEC level. You want to get to the NFL. Believe it or not, every guy that signs in recruiting, they have aspirations of playing in the NFL. So they want to come to South Carolina to get to the NFL. Hey, you filled your obligation to South Carolina. You played. You were a good player. You got to the league. And, hey, we're going to use you and your success in recruiting. So it felt like a very transactional relationship, but you just kind of, I know we as fans especially, we miss out, or we miss that guys sort of being ride or die for South Carolina. Guys that have a lot of school spirit and school pride, if you will. And that certainly helps us in recruiting. But, yeah, I mean, it's easy to look back, hindsight's 2020, and we can say all the things that were wrong with the culture and the guys that came in. Like I said, I'm cautious to put them all in that bucket, because I've had guys on my show that played in the last regime that are great dudes that love the University of South Carolina. But there were certainly times, and I agree with you, where it felt like a very transactional relationship. And I think South Carolina as a school, and especially a fan base, that they don't want it to be that way. I mean, I think we all want to put our arms around these guys and support these guys. And, hey, you're a Gamecock, man. You're a Gamecock forever now. Like, you're in the family forever. So I think Beamer certainly brought more of that attitude and that type of energy, if you will. And, we'll see if it pays off in the long run, but it definitely feels good in the short term. That is for sure.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks so much.
You have a good one.
You too. Great stuff. 843-790-3377, guys. That's 843-790-3377. Appreciate you all tuning in, guys. Taking your questions, comments, calls as well. Let's get back to the questions real quick. Like I said, if you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to TDC Questions to get your channel in, to be sure it's announced. Or be sure it's read off, excuse me. Keith Malsberger in the TDC Questions channel in the Big Cock Club Discord says, who do you feel had the most talent to start with, Muschamp or Beamer? I definitely think Muschamp. I think Muschamp left the program far worse off than Steve Spurrier did. I'll leave it at that. I don't think it's even close. And I'm not saying there's not talent on this roster, but you're going to compare the two. I think Muschamp actually had more talent to start with. But it's close. It's close. It is close. Let's see. Eric Reese, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, sir. My Twitch gang. Thank y'all. Kevin C., who do you see as the two guys starting in the middle of that 4-2-5 defense? That group might be the weakness of the defense. I think it'll probably be Debo Williams And I think probably Sherrod Green will get the nod early just because of his veteran leadership. I mean, he's a guy that feels like he's been at Carolina for like 10 years. I think Mo Kaba is a guy, though, that will emerge. I think he'll have a big year this year. But I think the combo of Debo Williams, Sherrod Green, Mo Kaba, I think Damani Staley is going to get snaps there as well. I think you'll see those guys sort of man those two. Todd Smith, appreciate you through the super chat, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, if you want to support the business, the content, the channel through YouTube, you can do so with super chat and super stickers. Todd Smith also cannot wait to meet you, my friend, at the Kentucky game with a cold Busch Latte. I'm sure Lance will be there with all the Busch Lattes. By the way, speaking of cold Busch Lattes and drinks in general, got these bad boys in. I'm sure you guys saw on social media. We got these bad boys in yesterday. I've got an entire box sitting right here next to me. I am getting these shipped out today. So I appreciate your patience, guys. If you've already ordered these, I really apologize for the wait. My vendor took forever, but I will tell you this, bro, these things are awesome, very, very high quality. I'm very, very impressed with the job they did. So again, I'll be getting these koozies sent out today. The plan is to get them all out by end of day today, guys. So again, thank you all so much for your love, support, and your patience when it comes to these koozies. But they turned out incredible. I mean, they turned out absolutely. I'm also going to plan on getting some actual TSUS koozies made. But yeah, these are sick. I mean, these are fire. There's no other way to put it. Those are fire. The quality is incredible. Absolutely love it. Tyler Knoll says, low-key hope Sling Blade calls the week of the Auburn game. I can't wait for that. Yeah, I'm sure he will. Carolina Titan, just watched the interview with Gavin. I didn't realize the last coaching staff was so toxic. Yeah, I'll tell you this, because some people might look at the conversation and say, oh, Gavin, he was a walk-on. Like, what can he – I'll tell you, the perspective, and I kind of felt like this would be the case, the perspective that Gavin brought on his time in Columbia and the last coaching staff and just Gamecocks football, very interesting. I mean, it was very, very interesting. He did not hold back at all. Phil in the TDC Questions channel in the Big Cock Club Discord, he says those players that only see Carolina as a temporary stop on their way to the NFL and don't embrace the university and the fans will never be considered legends of Carolina. They don't care, obviously. We can use their success for recruiting, but I hope we get a lot more dudes through the door that care about Carolina. Yeah, Phil, listen, especially from the fan perspective, I think that is very, very fair to say. Like I said, I think the fan base wants guys rocking the garnet and black they can truly embrace and wrap their arms around, and we can all truly embrace them, and they can embrace us. And when they don't do that, it's even if you're a good player, it just feels like a sort of empty feeling. It just does it. Something feels off. Something feels off there. So I agree with you 110%. Eric Reese said, love the pod today. It's funny hearing Gavin's perspective, because it's crazy to see the difference between Muschamp and Beamer. When I tried out for a walk-on spot in 2019 with Muschamp, there were 5 coaches there. They were all assistant recruiting coaches. Matt Lindsay barely talked to us. When I tried out again with Beamer, everyone from the janitor to Coach Beamer was there to talk and evaluate. Culture difference can be seen from every aspect. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's very, very interesting perspective. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's hearing Gavin's perspective was wild. We'll just put it that way. Joe Anders, the battle for QB2 will be interesting and is important. I agree. Yeah, I think it's one of the top storylines with this group. There's no question. I think it's one of the top storylines with this group. I'm going to say this right now, guys. I'm going to put out a projected depth chart graphic a little bit later today. You guys might have seen right before we went live. I actually put out a kind of a meet the quarterbacks type thing, and I don't know if there's going to be people drawing conclusions. Oh, you listed Jason Brown first. What does it mean? I literally just listed them. Just literally listed them, So didn't really mean anything what order they were in. But I think Luke Doty is firmly QB1. I think the way the quarterback position shakes out, like Joe Anders said, the way that position shakes out beyond Luke is more of a storyline. Who is QB2? Because I think Luke Doty, I mean, it's his job. Unless he goes out there and flat out loses it, he is going to be trotting out there, taking the snaps, the first snaps of the Shane Beamer era, if you will. But who's QB2? Can Colton Gauthier push Jason Brown and maybe go above him? Who knows? Hey, can Connor Jordan do some nice things? Shane Beamer seems to like him a lot too. Bryant Hughes, can't wait for Counter Football. Hey, I agree. Indeed. Sean O'Brien, can't wait for the koozies. Yes, like I said, I appreciate y'all's patience. They will be going out today. Kevin C., did you see what happened with Kumar Rocker? Feel bad for the kid. Hell of a pitcher and hope he didn't lose out on his chance to get paid. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm shocked the Mets are doing that. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know if he's going to go back to Vandy but dude, he missed his shot to get paid, bro. Kumar Rocker's Kumar Rocker. He will get paid. Somebody is going to sign him at some point, whether it be he's drafted again next year. I mean, whatever it might be, he will get signed. No questions asked. No questions asked. Let's see. Brian Dean says Luke Doty QB1, Colton Gauthier QB2. And Jason Brown, QB3. That's a hell of a take, Brian, because there's some people that are saying that Jason Brown should be the starting quarterback, which, hey, like I said, it's great. Honestly, anytime you're talking quarterback, and especially if there's a battle for QB1, it's great content, but I'm not going to be the guy that makes it to be something it's not. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to hype up the quarterback battle all preseason. I don't think there's a battle for QB1. I think it's Luke Doty's job. I do. And again, until Shane Beamer himself says something different in regards to, hey, Jason Brown looks like this and he's doing this and who knows, but until Shane Beamer says that, I'm not going to hype up something that's not there. I'm not going to hype up something that's not there. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Carolina Titan projection for the season's Doty throws for 2,500 yards and runs for 600. Many will be surprised by this team. Brooks steps up as the number one wide receiver. Screenshot this message. Carolina Titan, I love that. Love the confidence. Phil says in the TDC questions channel in the Big Cock Club Discord, wait, what happened with Rocker? Yeah, so Phil, the Mets had concerns over Kumar Rocker's physical, so they are not signing him. They did not sign him. So what that means is basically he has a couple of options. He can either go back to Vanderbilt or he can go play indie ball. He can go play independent ball. So it's just a mess, man. I highly suggest you, Phil, if you want to know more, look up the article. There might be some things, some details that I'm leaving out. But bottom line, the Mets didn't sign him. So Sean O'Brien is Brown ends up getting snaps in the EIU game and looks good. Some people will chomp at the bit to open up the quarterback debate again. And Sean, hey, it's inevitable. It's inevitable, right? The backup quarterback is the most popular guy on campus. So God forbid Luke Doty goes out there and plays anything other than perfect week one. There are going to be people clamoring for the backup. It's just part of the gig. I mean, it's funny. When we were talking spring game months ago, and I was talking storylines, and I said it over and over. I said, hey, don't draw conclusions from the spring game, right? We're take everything you see with a grain of salt, whatever it is, what it is. Don't draw conclusions, though. And sure enough, what happened, Jason Brown goes out there and throws 2 touchdowns. And I'm not discrediting Jason Brown. Hey, start the guy that gives us the best chance to win. But when Shane Beamer comes out immediately following the spring game and says, Luke Doty is our starting quarterback. Luke Doty is our number one quarterback. Luke Doty took every single snap as QB1 this spring. Hey, do you like Shane Beamer? Do you like Beamer ball? Do you trust Shane Beamer? You got to trust him. You got to trust him in this scenario. You got to trust Shane Beamer. You got to trust Marcus Satterfield. You got to trust that they're going to play the guy that gives us the best chance to win. And I think it's kind of ironic and funny that people, last year we were all complaining and, oh, man, we need a mobile quarterback. Colin Hill can't move. He can't run. And now we have one, and people want the guy that's less mobile. It's crazy. But, again, I get it. The backup quarterback's the most popular guy on campus. And like I told you guys, I think the worst narrative surrounding Gamecock football right now is that Luke Doty can't throw the football. Now, if you want to say, can Luke Doty be a week in, week out consistent passer of the football against SEC defenses? Fine, that's another conversation. But people say he can't throw the football like he literally can't make a 20-yard throw down the field. And it's like, go back and watch the spring game. He absolutely has zip on it. The kid's got an arm. I mean, he was a top 100 recruit, guys, for a reason. He was a top 100. And I'll tell you this. I'll be totally honest. And again, I've met Jason Brown. Jason's an awesome dude. I'm glad he's a Gamecock. But I'll be completely blunt and honest with you. If Jason Brown beat out Luke Doty for the starting quarterback job, I'd be more worried about Luke Doty, and maybe he's not the guy we thought he was in recruiting, than I would say, man, I'm just, Jason Brown is, man, he's to be impressed. And I know that sounds bad and that sounds tough to say, but bro, you're a top 100 recruit. Like, Luke Doty's got to turn 4-star guy. Luke Doty's got to turn into the guy. He's got to turn into the guy, right? You got to stop missing on these 4-star quarterback prospects, because Carolina seems they've done it over and over and over again. You got to stop missing out on these guys. And I think it starts with Luke Doty. Again, I'm not saying Luke Doty's going to go out there and throw for 5,000 yards. I'm not even saying he's going to go out there, be some hero, but be the field general. This offense needs a guy like Luke Doty. You need that athleticism. You need that dual threat. And I think Luke obviously provides you with that. So, again, I think Luke Doty's QB1. I don't see that changing at all. I mean, he's obviously QB1. Shane Beamer named him QB1. I don't see that changing at all. I think Luke Doty will be your starting quarterback when the Gamecocks take the field on September the 4th. And for this team to make a bowl game, guys, you can talk about Jason Brown. You can talk about Colton Gauthier. You can talk about the quarterback position. If you think there's a quarterback debate, fine. But I'll tell you this. You're a Gamecock fan. You should hope and pray that there is not a debate at the quarterback position, because this team will not make a bowl game if the quarterback position's unsettled. It just simply won't. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. You simply don't. You got to have that guy. You have to. You got to at least go into each and every single game, each and every single week saying, you know what? We know who our guy is. We know who it is. You can't go into games being like, who's getting the start this week? No quarterback can succeed in that type of environment. No team can succeed in that type of environment. So Luke Doty, QB1, I think it's no debate, no discussion. Now, who's QB2? I think that is an interesting storyline as we go throughout fall camp. No question. No question. Carolina Titan says, Doty brings the mobility element that you need in a quarterback. You have to have a quarterback that can scramble when the pocket collapses. Yeah, I mean, defenses are just too good, man. They're too athletic. They're too big. They're too fast. They're just too good. They're just too good, bottom line. You got to have a guy that's mobile. And he doesn't have to run a 4.4 like Luke Doty does. I mean, that's a plus. He doesn't have to be that fast, but you've at least got to get a guy that can wiggle a little bit, get out of trouble. You got to have, all due respect to Colin Hill. Like I said, I don't have the same vitriol as some of you do to Colin Hill, but when you are as slow as he is and you lack mobility, I mean, mobility is nowhere near Colin Hill's vocabulary. It just makes it damn near impossible. It makes it damn near impossible for a guy to make plays back there. So, let's see. Ram Renovation says, honestly, we need Brown to push Doty. Yeah, I think there is competition a little bit. I think there's without a doubt competition, but I think Luke Doty's our guy. I think that it was very smart of Shane Beamer to name a starting quarterback, and I've said that over and over and over again. But I think it was very, very smart to name a starting quarterback. I really do, because, again, people like me, those on social media, those in the media, hell, the fan base, if you don't and you let the conversation linger throughout the summer, hey, let your guy Luke Doty, you're the leader of our football team. Command your football team this summer. Command your football team in fall camp. I think it was very smart of Shane Beamer to go ahead and name a starter. Let's see. Kevin C. says you can still have 100% capacity and have fans at a safe distance from the players. Not really possible at fan day or practice field. The university's caution makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think you're right. Brian Dean, Doty will have a great running game to lean on. Yeah, and I think he'll be part of that running game. No doubt. That needs to be part of the offense. His athleticism, that's got to be part of your offense, man. No question. No question. Let's see. Again, taking your questions, comments, calls. Keith says, if you're not at the practices, how can you say who needs to be the quarterback? Keith, great question. And that's in the TDC Questions channel in the Big Cock Club Discord. Well, Keith, I don't really have to be at practices. Shane Beamer flat out said he's QB1. And, again, I watched the guy in the spring game, and I know his skill set, right? Listen, whoever gives this team the best chance to win, I don't give a damn who they play. Jason Brown, Gauthier, whatever, Keith, whoever you think should start, fine. I just want to win. I don't give a damn. But when you look at this football team and you look at its skills, or you look at its strengths, you look at its weaknesses, obviously, offensive line, running the football, that's going to be your strength offensively. Where are your deficiencies? Wide receiver, right? So what sense does it make, Keith, to put the guy out there who, he's got such a better arm, he's such a better passer? Well, what difference does it make if he doesn't have any big-time wide receivers to throw it to? What difference? Listen, South Carolina, a school like South Carolina, basically 99% of the schools out there, you've got to have a mobile quarterback. Because guess what? When you have a guy like Colin Hill, when you have a guy who's not a mobile quarterback, essentially what you're doing is playing 10 on 11 football. You're playing 10 on 11. And I'm sorry, South Carolina's not good enough to play 10 on 11. They're not good enough for Jason Brown or whoever the hell to drop back there and have 5 seconds to throw and say, I've got this 5-star wide receiver and that 5-star wide receiver and that 5-star tight end. I got 5-star linemen blocking for me. You don't have that luxury. You just simply don't. You need to be creative. You need to be forward thinking offensively. And what is forward thinking? Having a guy like Luke Doty who can make plays with both his legs and his arms. So no, Keith, I'm not at practices. I can tell you, though, I talk to people in the building, and I'll tell you right now, Luke Doty is firmly QB1. Firmly QB1. So, and I'll leave it at that. But, yeah. Again, I don't have to be at practice, though. Shane Beamer named the guy the starting quarterback. So, I'm right. Hey, if Beamer came out tomorrow and said, Jason Brown has won the job, he's our guy, I'll ride with Jason Brown. I'm going to ride with what Beamer says. You know what I mean? Beamer knows more football than I do. I'm going to ride with, that doesn't mean I'll never question what Shane Beamer has to say, but I'm going to ride with who he thinks the starting quarterback should be. Now, again, if Luke Doty goes out there week 1 and throws 4 picks, well, hey, you might need to look a different direction. I think he will. I don't think it's going to be a scenario where they're going to be, I think we saw in the previous regime a coaching staff that just tied themselves so hard to one guy. And, we all know how it went and what happened. And just, it's like, man, like you're so ride or die with this one guy. Like give other people opportunities. I think that'll happen. I think that will happen. But, yeah, as of right now, Luke Doty is QB1. Bottom line, period, point blank. Let's see. Joe Anders, do you think Strong will play outside linebacker, or did he come to be a backup edge rusher? I think they'll probably use him in both. In that 4-2-5 scheme, I think they'll use him at both. Yeah, I think he's a guy that's certainly going to get on the field. There's no question. Sean O'Brien, I believe Beamer reiterated again that Doty was the starter in a couple SEC Media Day interviews as well. He did. Absolutely, he did. Tyler Knoll, Luke finished 3rd at the Elite 11. You're not invited to the Elite 11 if you can't throw the ball. That narrative is garbage. Luke will show a lot of skeptics wrong this year. Sat has said as well, he throws it well and compared him to Drew Brees. Lofty comparison, but nevertheless, Sat has seen elite quarterbacks up close and personal and wouldn't say things that aren't true. Yeah, listen, I think Luke Doty can spin it, bottom line, in the story. Colonel Titan says, we need good player development and offensive play calling. Just think we had Debo Shy and Brian Edwards on the same team and never got consistent offensive production. Yeah, it's mind-blowing, it's baffling to hear you say that. And, I mean, we all know that, but just to hear that again is like, my God. Just my God. Let's see. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. If you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to TDC Questions to be sure your question is answered. Counter Titan says, even Jason Brown said Doty was a smart player and that he was learning from Doty. There's a reason Doty's the starter. Sean O'Brien also says you have to have a mobile quarterback in the modern day unless you have an absolute gunslinger, which most teams don't. Yeah, I mean, I just think that unless you have a bunch of 5-star wide receivers, like if you're Alabama, right, you can have a guy like Mac Jones who doesn't run. But we're not Alabama, and most teams aren't Alabama. You got to get creative. I mean, think about it, guys. The best years ever of South Carolina football came with a mobile quarterback. It's not rocket science. Like, you need a guy who can do both. You do. And I'll tell you guys this, I'd rather sacrifice a little bit of throwing ability. If that's the argument you want to make, that's totally fine. And I think the argument, the conversation, it's great, guys. I love the banter. But if you want to make the argument, well, Luke Doty is just not a good enough passer to be a week in, week out quarterback, we got to have a guy like Jason Brown. I'll tell you this, I would much rather sacrifice a little bit of throwing ability for a guy that runs a 4.40. Right now, I'll tell you that right now. Hey, especially when you look at this football team. Alshon Jeffrey, guys, is not walking through that door. Bruce Ellington ain't walking through that door. Ace Sanders ain't walking through that door. Those guys are not on this football team. All due respect to our wide receivers. And, hey, I'm going to break down wide receivers next week. I might hurt some of your feelings talking about the wide receivers because we're going to be very blunt, very honest about it. As you guys know what to expect with me. We're going to be very, very blunt about it. And that position's a deficiency. Until proven otherwise, that position is a deficiency. It is a weakness. There's no secret this is going to be a football team that has to run the football, that has to use the tight ends, that has to throw to the backside of the backfield, and that's going to have to run and do some read option things and get the quarterback moving in the pocket. And it's not going to be an offense where we're just going to run in the I formation and we're going to play action. And like, you got to get a little creative. You got to get a little creative. So Luke Doty fits that mold much, much more than a guy like Jason Brown. Again, that's no disrespect. I like Jason. I've met Jason. He's an awesome dude. But best fit for this football team and the guy that gives this team the best chance to win, it's Luke Doty to me. And I don't think it's even close. So Michael says, you're absolutely right, Chris. Whatever Beamer says, I'm going with it. We finally have competent coaches. Think we go 7-5. I got 6-6. I think 7-5 is very fair. I would love to see 7-5. Todd Smith says, predicting Doty 2021 season, 3,000 passing yards, 800 rushing yards, and 25 touchdowns. Let me sign up for that season right now. That'd be a hell of a year for Luke Doty. Tyler Knoll, as much disdain as I have for Bobo, he said he saw week 2 or 3 last year. Luke needed to be the guy, but Champ wouldn't make the change. Yeah, I mean, Tyler, that's kind of the funny thing is everybody hates Mike Bobo and blames Bobo for the offense and Helinski and all this, but I mean, I've got it on very good word from a buddy of mine that knows Bobo, that Bobo wanted Luke Doty since week 2, and there was a certain guy that wouldn't let him make the change. So once he got control of the whole thing, that's when he finally injected Luke Doty in the lineup. So, yeah, I mean, again, guys, you got to have a guy that can improvise and make plays, and Doty's that guy. Doty's that guy. Mark Sharp, need a good decision maker with a solid arm and a set of wheels at QB. Doty fits that mold. He just needs some reps. And Mark, you bring up a great point, because the number one objective for Luke Doty is don't play your football team out of any games. Don't turn the football over. If you turn the football over, you can't be the starting quarterback. So, hey, if Luke Doty, he's got all this athleticism and this, that, but if he goes out there and he turns the football over, he won't be the starting quarterback very long, guys. So I think as long as Luke can take care of the football, I feel good about him as our quarterback. Again, I'm not expecting anything crazy out of him or thinking he's going to go out there, like I said, and be even an all-SEC player, but I think he can do enough for this football team to have a successful season, which we've all agreed is getting to 6-6 and getting to a bowl game. Bottom line. John Gibbs, what's up, Chris? I hate we got to wait a week for you to play the Taters. I hate it too, John. I apologize for that. Like I said, though, I'm not in studio right now, and we're going to Missouri. Hey. Patience is a virtue, right? Patience is a virtue. So, again, I appreciate y'all being cool and flexible and rolling with the punches. And, again, I know things have been kind of crazy in regards to the content and sort of how we're scheduling things. But there will be tons of NCAA content, Like I said, the season simulation series will literally start next week, which, if you guys are unfamiliar, we've been playing the 2021 season on Heisman. What we'll do, the season simulation series, will actually simulate the games, and I will watch along with you all. Like that, those are very fun, by the way, because the games, it feels like they feel so realistic. So, going to be a really, really good time. Lance Player, I predict Doty will win my This Lattes for You Badass of the Week award week 1. Lance, that makes me think, should we bring, I don't think we should. I don't know. I was going to say Slap Dick of the Week award or Slap Dick of the Weekend, but that's more of a baseball thing. A slap dick is more of a baseball thing, honestly. Brack, what's going on, my guy? Great to hear and see from you, Brack. Appreciate you tuning in, sir. Let's see. Robbie Davis just texts in. My guy, Robbie Davis, says, what's up, Chris? I've said this before. I'll say it again. I do not care as a starting quarterback as long as we win. And also, which linebacker you think could thrive in our new defense? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have 33 days, Robbie, until kickoff. Mom's doing well. Appreciate the well wishes, Robbie, to Missouri. I agree with you, first off, that I don't give a damn who the quarterback is either. Just go win games. I think Mo Kaba is the linebacker I'm most excited for. I think Mo Kaba has a big, big year for us this year. Yes, Brack, my brother's graduating basic on Thursday. Wednesday is family day. Thursday is graduation. Tuesday and Friday will be travel days for us. So probably both Tuesday and Friday, I'll be doing like a Q&A thing, taking your questions. I will literally be in the car for 12 hours, so please keep me entertained if you can. Keith, does Luke have to be just a game manager? See, when you say that, game manager, I look at it more as a field general, right? Because there's such a negative connotation to game manager in the sense of like, just don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything stupid. You can't make any big plays. Just manage. I think Luke Doty can be a playmaker. I do. Now, again, what he has to do, I think, is a lot like what Connor Shaw did. Be a field general. Be smart with the football. Don't turn it over. Yes, get it to your playmakers. But Command your offense. Lead your team. Lead your offense. I think that's what Luke Doty needs to do. So, again, guys, quick reminder, the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 477, breaking down the Gamecocks quarterbacks heading the 2021 football season as we began our position unit preview series that will run from today all the way up until kickoff. So, Lance Player, genius, my friend. He says Big Cock Player of the Week. I think the Big Cock of the Week has got to be an award. I think that's got to be like the team MVP, the Big Cock of the Week. That has to. Lance, genius, absolutely genius, Lance. I love that. Let's see. Brayson Haney, did you finally get the chance to watch the Coach Sat interview at the golf tournament? I did not. I'm watching that today. Sorry, man. It was a crazy weekend. Did not get to tune in. John Gibbs, I hope we turn some heads this past weekend. Recruits, had a bunch of them here. I'm really looking forward to the day we get that elite quarterback. I'm very excited to see Doty evolve. I am as well. I think Doty can be a good player for us. Yeah, I think the scheme is going to be fun to watch. I do. I've told you guys, we wrote down offense. I think the offense takes a huge step this year. I think the offense is much better. I truly believe Luke Doty's athleticism will be the difference. I really do. Michael, also this year compared to last, in particular, we have depth at a few more positions, such as quarterback, wide receiver, D-line, and O-line, and edge. Verdict still out on secondary. Well, we have depth, Michael, but do we have quality depth? Do we have a bunch of guys who can go out there and make plays for us? That's you talk about like receivers. We got tons of options, but do we have tons of options that can actually go out there and make a play? That's the question. Count on Titan, Doty's competitive guy seems to have the it factor. I'm not calling him Tim Tebow, but I feel his best days are ahead of him. People forget he was a true freshman with no offseason. Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah. To put any judgment on Luke Doty for what he did last season, dude, it was a complete mess. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Luke Doty this season. Sean O'Brien, are you able to tell us if there's any movement on a potential Beamer interview? There's positive movement. I don't know when it'll be. There's positive movement. I feel confident that it will happen at some point. Listen, Shane Beamer's got 1,000 things to worry about right now. So I'm not like constantly nagging at them or, let Shane Beamer do his thing. He's got a job to do. You know what I mean? Whenever it's meant for Coach Beamer to be on the airwaves, I think it will happen. I'm confident that it will happen. So, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm confident it will happen. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377, guys. Like I said, the only Daily Crow of the week today. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, this will be I can tell you this too, by the way. This will be the last week of anything like this. We're in regards to like we're having to reschedule things or what have you. After this week, I'm basically locked into Columbia for the next however long. I mean, we've still got things going on. I'm actually next weekend going to a Falcons preseason game, which will be a blast. The following weekend, we've got our live show from Rita's in Folly Beach, Charleston, South Carolina. Incredible stuff. Really looking forward to that live show with Cox by 90. Going to be an incredible time. And then just a couple weeks later, we got kickoff. So counting down the days, man. 33 days to kickoff. Sean O'Brien, thank you for the reminder. Because next week start the 2-hour Daily Crows, he said. So not next week. We're actually going to start those August the 23rd. Monday, August the 23rd. I'm going to put out a promo graphic probably sometime this week. Yeah, that'll probably happen sometime this week. But also going to put out a promo graphic this week, I think, for our TSUS tailgates because I have official spots. Also, stay tuned, guys, later today. I'll tell you all since you're all tuned in here. Very, very excited. And it's only going through Instagram, by the way. We have a hell of not an interview. We've got a hell of a giveaway. Partnering with my friends right here. Right here. Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Guys, we are giving away 2 tickets. 2 tickets to the first game of the Shane Beamer era. And guys, the seats are incredible. My guy hit me up. He says they are section 21, row 18 on the 50-yard line. Incredible stuff. So giveaway that's happening. I'll be dropping that graphic later today. That giveaway is going to run like 10 days or so. We're going to pick a winner next Wednesday. And it'll be very similar to all of our giveaways on Instagram. Like the post, you have to follow them, tag 3 friends, all that good stuff. But we are giving away 2 tickets to the first game. And the goal and the expectation, I think what we both want to do, we want to give away a pair of tickets to each and every single game this season. So really excited for that, guys. There's a lot of positive momentum, a lot of things happening right now. I'm very excited and appreciate all of you, your love and your support, guys. Thank you all so much. Let's move over to the TDC questions channel in the Big Cock Club Discord. Phil says, did Cox by 90 get their name from your saying of Cox by 90? Well, Phil, I'm very flattered that you think I came up with Cox by 90. Cox by 90 has been a saying for quite a while. I mean, I certainly did not come up with it. I just sort of embraced it. Like, I made some shirts here and there, but no, I think he just, it's just Cox by 90 is a very popular slogan, and he sort of, just ran with it, which it's a great name. It's honestly a great name, and it's fun to talk about. And no, I mean, I certainly don't think he got it from me. Let's put it that way. And I didn't start it. So, I mean, I can't take credit for that at all, but it's a fantastic slogan. It's a fun slogan. And no, it works very well. Keith, your offensive and defensive players to watch. Keith, when you say to watch, can you expand on that? What do you mean to watch? Because I think there's guys to watch that I'm expecting big seasons out of. I think there's guys that are underrated that I'm watching for. Heck, there's a lot of guys to watch for. You know what I mean? Heck, we could go position by position of guys you should be watching for. But when you say players to watch, are you saying like key players? Are you saying surprise players? What are you saying specifically? Carolina Titan says, Beamer is doing things right. He's hired great position coaches and will let them do their job. He's heavily involved in recruiting, so I see a bright elite recruiting in the Gamecocks' future. Yeah, hey, you cannot be a head coach at this level if you can't recruit. You just can't do it. Yeah, recruiting is the name of the game. It's the lifeblood of college football. And, yeah, listen, I think we all feel really good about the job he's doing, what he's doing in recruiting. Keith says, the standouts, who can be big time? Okay. So we'll start offensively. I think Luke Doty can. I think going into the season, though, your top standouts, Kevin Harris, obviously. I think Marshawn Lloyd will be an impact player for us. I think Nick Muse at the tight end position, I think he'll have a good year. I think Jaheim Bell is going to be a guy that's not really being talked about all that much. That's going to be a standout for us. And I think at the wide receiver position, I think Amarian Brown. I mean, that's the guy I turn to. Also, E.J. Jenkins. I think E.J. Jenkins can be one hell of a red zone threat for us. So that's a few. Defensively, I think Birch and Pickens are going to blow up this year, especially Jordan Birch. I think J.J. Enagbare obviously is your lead guy on defense. I think Jalen Dickerson's a guy at the safety position that not many talk about, that I think getting his opportunity this year, I think he'll show some nice things in the back end. I think Cam Smith really coming to his own as a top DB. I expect that out of Cam Smith. I think Debo Williams, he seems like he's tried to, he's kind of established himself as the leader of that defense, especially what he said since he's got on campus. I think Debo Williams, I like Mo Kaba a lot. I've told you guys a lot. I like Mo Kaba. I think he's going to blow up this year. And Karan Prunty, obviously coming in from Kansas, I think certainly he will be an impact guy for us. So there's a lot of guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys for us. There's a lot of guys that I think have the opportunity and have the potential to be big-time players for us. I do. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. We got about 5 minutes left. Man, time flies when you're having fun. 843-790-3377. Appreciate you all tuning in, guys. Christian Carver, how about Boston from the Lady Gamecocks signing the NIL with Bojangles? Yeah, we've had a couple of players do that. How about that, huh? We've had a couple of players do that. Brayson Haney says, what was the conversation with Beamer like when you got the Beamer Ball hat signed? Did he appreciate the branding? Yeah. So Beamer knew who I was. He most certainly knew who I was, and he liked the hat. He did like the hat. And it was an incredible conversation, Brayson. I wrote an article about it last week, and I'll share with you guys now. It was a awesome conversation. And I got a little emotional. I'll be totally honest with you, because coming off of the turmoil that we all dealt with, but especially yours truly, for better or worse, I was labeled the Fire Muschamp guy. And That's totally fine. You know, I'll never apologize for that because honestly, that Fire Muschamp moment was one of the greatest moments for my business. Like it literally elevated TSUS from just kind of this thing to kind of put us on the map, if you will. But unfortunately, it was a very negative thing for our school when you've got a head coach that is on the hot seat and that's the lead storyline of your football program. You know, it's not the greatest thing. And I think all of you know by now that the relationship between the university and I at the football program specifically was not always the best. It just wasn't. You know, there were times that I felt like South Carolina would rather me not even exist. They would rather me not do what I'm doing and pursue what I love to do. And so to hear Shane Beamer say things like, "We truly appreciate the job you're doing. You know, you help us win. You have a positive impact on our program. You know, I love what you're doing. I love the work that you're doing. Keep it up." To hear him say that again, it's one of those things, guys, where you know, without getting too deep and philosophical, you know, I don't need anyone's validation. I truly don't. As long as I can lay my head on my pillow at night, I'm Gucci, right? I'm good. But there's the business side of me that says something like that, and there's the fan side of me because I'm a fan first. The reason I started doing this is I'm a fan. And so, I mean, listen, I'll be totally honest with you guys, and it hasn't happened a ton, but once I moved to Columbia in August of 2019 and took the stance of, you know, fire Will Muschamp, which again, I'll never apologize for just speaking my mind and being honest. And that's how I felt. And hey, I think at the end of the day, we saw kind of what happened and, you know, whatever, either way. But honestly, there were times that I woke up and it only happened a handful, but after that happened, and I mean, it was just vitriol on social media. I mean, it was, you know, and I had to learn to navigate that. But there were days that I woke up and I was like, I don't really know that I want to do this, man. I don't know that I really want to deal with this. And again, that hasn't happened a lot because, you know, I've gained a lot of perspective along the journey, and I've learned to not care about what certain people say and to fuel myself with gratitude and service and integrity and love and not consume that type of hate and negativity, and also to not take it personally, right? I've learned that to not take it personally. But it is something as a human being, you know, I don't think we're geared to go on social media and see people just completely ripping us, attacking our character, attacking everything we are. But it's something you have to learn to navigate and you deal with. I mean, you're doing something on the internet on a public forum. It's just part of the gig. It's going to happen. So, you know, there were just times that, you know, I felt like Gamecock football would have rather, like I said, me not exist. And for us to be past that now, and it's just a totally different type of energy. And, you know, it's like I said, to hear Shane Beamer said what he said, like I said, from the business side of things, whatever, people don't have to like me. It is what it is. As long as business is good and business is rocking and rolling, whatever, it is what it is, right? But from the fan side, you know, from the fan side, to hear Shane Beamer show his love and support and encourage me, like somebody just said in the chat, encourage me and you know, really said, hey, we rock at what you do. Like, you help us win. He's like, you help us win. You're helping our program. You are helping our program. And I truly appreciate you. Keep it up. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Love to see what you're doing. You know, and obviously we had a conversation back and forth. I told him, you know, I just want to say from Gamecock Nation, thank you for everything you're doing. You know, like I said, Gamecock fans, just what you're doing, it's incredible. We truly do appreciate it. We appreciate all your hard work. And I told him, hey, appreciate you, coach. Go give him hell. That's it. So it was a great conversation and really cool. It was just really, really cool, man. It was really, really cool. Somebody asked, let's see. Sean O'Brien, what exactly happened with the university and you when it came to the last regime? Not sure if you have enough time. Well, Sean, long story short, you know, when you take the stance that I took of fire the head coach, you know, things get a little interesting. They get a little interesting. They get a little rocky. And it is what it is, man. Everything happens for a reason. It's all good. Like I said, I never swayed. I never let that impact the way I create content and do my job and run my business. But man, I tell you what, I've covered a team where it's been negativity and the lead storyline been your head coach's job security. And now I'm covering a team where there's excitement and there's optimism and there's energy and there's hope. I much prefer what is going down right now than what we had in the past. Because believe it or not, there were some people out there that thought I liked us losing. They thought I wanted us to lose so I could be a Fire Muschamp guy. And it's like, guys, I cannot tell you, I can't even begin to tell you how exponentially better my life is since Shane Beamer got hired. I mean, it's night and day. Ask anybody. Ask the people that I associate with. Ask the people I talk to on a consistent basis. I mean, you guys see it in the content. You guys hear it in the show. You guys, you see it all. So I appreciate Shane Beamer. I appreciate the hell out of Shane Beamer and the great work he's doing. Like I said, let's hitch our wagon to this guy. Let's give him time. Let's be patient, but let's support the guy. Let's support the guy. He's a Gamecock, and I'm glad he's in the building, and I think they're doing great things. And I feel like Shane Beamer's a guy that gets it. And like we said earlier, is somebody we can actually wrap our arms around and embrace. He's one of us. So, and there's guys on that staff. They're one of us as well. Guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been a freaking blast. Check out the podcast if you have not done so. Episode 477, breaking down the Gamecocks quarterbacks heading in the 2021 football season. Also, a great conversation, great interview. Gavin Bennett, former Gamecocks offensive lineman. Really, really great stuff. He had some awesome perspective on Gamecocks football the last couple of seasons. Truly appreciate him taking the time. Guys, again, thank you all so much for love and support. No Daily Crow the rest of the week, but I promise you we will be interactive on social media. We'll do some Q&A stuff. We'll do some different things. But again, thank you all so much for your love and support. Appreciate you all tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.